Aye. Be the plume goon, should start down, need permission, now I stay real with it. Lay one foundation, know it's gon' build, bro, I been biddle with it. Your homeboy check the cash out, smart contracts with a cash out. Everybody want smoke till I turn the dare, show you where the house at. It's on the block.
What's going on, folks? It's the Underdog Research Channel. We are here for a Plume conversation. This is Plume Coinbase Effect. I'm about to break it down to you, but before I do all that, let me go ahead and tell you folks that this video live stream is best watched on a big screen TV or your computer or laptop. I have visuals throughout this conversation, and you're going to sell yourself short if you're not putting this on a screen. So make sure you're sharing it to a screen, bring it into your home so you can see this up close and personal. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Recently, December 2nd, 2025, I just told you about an announcement. Coinbase says on December 2nd that they would be listing Plume. It was on their roadmap. And they gave a little fine tune to that, a little fine print. And it said that based on liquidity and other aspects, they would list. But it was pretty much certain. But I want you to know that there's been an update since then. And I want to do something a little bit special that I don't think anybody else is doing in this space. And I want to give you realistic expectations. Now, I know that sounds crazy because most times people give these fake price predictions. And if you watched me for the last 5 years and over 700,000 views, you know I don't do fake and I don't do speculation unless I can provide you researchable facts so that you can look at it. So today, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, let's talk about what I'm going to show you. Now, if you're interested in this type of information, please right now scan this QR code. I have a membership package at the highest level, the analyst level. You get exclusive content that I do not release on my public platform. This Underdog membership is 66 cents a day, which is $19.99 a month. Very inexpensive. And I even have a private site too for training. So I want to make sure you're aware of that. Now, let's get into the conversation. Just a few days ago, I told you about this Coinbase listing roadmap for Plume token. Today, I'm going to break down two things for you. First thing I'm going to break down is talking about my analysis of Plume from a project standpoint. Let me give you the disclaimer because it goes into my next part about the Coinbase effect. That is the conversation for today. Here's my disclaimer. I am a crypto research platform. This is not a crypto trading platform. You won't see one signal, one MACD, no trading signals whatsoever. I help you to better understand the project, and you must take accountability for whatever choices you make, because I don't get no benefit if you blow up your bank accounts. And if you lose money, I don't get no benefits from that. This has to be your decision. How you use it is up to you, but I try to make it easy for you. The second thing I'm going to do today is talk about something that is not price prediction, not speculation. It is the statistical norms when something gets listed on a major exchange like Coinbase. So I want to show you this, and then we're jumping right into it. My video for today is not a price prediction video. What I'm showing you are historical patterns, statistical averages, and comparative benchmarks that have occurred when other assets were listed on Coinbase. These patterns don't guarantee future results, but they can help us understand how the market has behaved under similar conditions. Because someone's going to skip that part and say, Underdog, I thought you gave me a price prediction. I don't do price predictions. I give you research. You are intelligent individuals. So let's get into it. Historically, with projects listed on Coinbase, what you can see is when they get added to the roadmap, there is an average price reaction that has been between a certain number to a certain number. And I'm going to show you a pattern, not predicting the outcome. Now, where am I getting this information from? So let's talk about it. First, let's establish what am I saying today differently than I already told you about the roadmap. So where's this information coming from? December 8th of 2025, 12:54 p.m. Coinbase Markets says spot trading for Plume and Jupiter will go live on 9 December 2025. The opening of our Plume USD and Jupiter USD trading pairs will begin on or after 9 a.m. And if liquidity conditions are met in regions where trading is supported. Now, this was, again, 82,700 views, and this was on December the 8th at 12:54 p.m. Now, let's talk about this. So the first thing is, I want you to have good sources. That's how we have to do in crypto or any other research. Is this source reputable? Well, Coinbase Markets is not listed by Coinbase as one of their normal platforms, but apparently it is one of their sub platforms of Coinbase because it is used and there's millions of people who utilize this site. But let's find another source because there was a change. So what's the first change I saw? First, it's a roadmap announcement for Plume, but this now tells me that they're listing Plume and they gave a date for the listing. Previously, I didn't have a date. Now we have a date, which was December the 9th, but on December the 9th, it wasn't listed. Let's talk about this update. So on December the 9th at 5:07 p.m., this is the update to this announcement. It reads, the launch of spot trading for Plume has been postponed to 10 December 2025. The opening of our Plume USD trading pair will begin on or after 9 a.m. if liquidity conditions are met in regions where trading is supported. This one received 11,000 views on Coinbase Markets at 5:07 p.m. Now, let's look at that. So now we got an update. Now we see it's not for the 9th. There's an update, but still, is this the official posting of Coinbase? This was Coinbase Markets. So let me show you the third resource and reference, and then we're going to continue with the Coinbase Effect. I got to give you the foundations before we get into the video. So let's talk about this. On this one, December 9th, 2025, Coinbase Markets, it shows 75,200 views, which states the same thing, that Plume will go live. Then between these two, I just want you to be aware of that between December 8th and December 9th, there's an accelerated increase in views from 75,000 to 82,700 at the time of this live screen from Coinbase Markets. And I know you're saying, well, Underdog, that has to be true, but that's not what we do here. Researchable facts. I need to see a listing from Coinbase official exchange before I sit here and tell you what I found and that Coinbase is saying it. I have a lot of supportive information, but let's see if we can find an official Coinbase announcement. And that brings me to this. Coinbase official status update on their site. It states the following: December the 9th, 2025 at 2:08 p.m. Update. The launch of spot trading for Plume has been postponed to 10 December 2025. The opening of our Plume trading pair will begin on or after 9 a.m. if liquidity conditions are met in regions where trading is supported. They continue with the update with monitoring. Spot trading for Plume and Jupiter will go live on 9 December 2025. That's the previous statement. So the most updated information is moved from where I told you the roadmap announced that Plume would be listed on Coinbase to Coinbase themselves announcing a date of 10 December 2025 after originally announcing 9 December 2025. I reviewed Coinbase status and it had several crypto projects that were delayed one day. And there was technical issues with Coinbase, as other people have noticed over the past few months, which is one of the reasons why there's a delay in the updating of Plume. Now, are y'all ready? So now that we got that out the way, the foundation, it has been confirmed that Coinbase is listing Plume in the next 24 hours. Let's talk about the Coinbase Effect. This is where the money meets the road. Realistic expectations. So instead of asking the question, what will the price be, underdog? What's the speculation? Give me a price prediction. Those are fake, folks. There are fakes. There's nobody who knows exactly when the entries and when it's going to exit. Because if we knew that, we wouldn't be here on YouTube or any other platform. We would be making billions elsewhere. No one knows what's going to happen, but we can look at evidence to help us out. The question I'm going to have you today as we go through researchable information is, what does history teach us about liquidity, attention, and access when a token like Plume is in initial trading in real world assets and the mainstream exchange like Coinbase is listing it? What can retail investors expect? Now, if you want to leave this platform right now and go find someone who will tell you what you want to hear and shield to you, go find it. But I'm going to show you facts that you can look up and research what you can expect with this listing. And let's get to it. So, with a Coinbase listing, first you need to know Plume returning to its previous levels between 11 cents to 13 cents, or testing its all-time high of 26 cents, and it's about 24 cents, but at some point, the max, it was 26. It's not a prediction. It's simply the historical range of the movement it has already experienced before the Coinbase listing. The Coinbase roadmap listing increases liquidity for Plume, but the future will depend on market conditions, demands, and execution from the project. So what I'm going to do right now for you folks is going to take 3 simple price points for Plume, and I'm going to apply it to scientific studies that I'm going to share with you right now and other resources about listing on major tier 1 exchanges and apply that to Plume. Now, if you don't already know my background, you know I have a master's in digital forensic science. You already know I'm in my doctorate pursuing technology management and information systems. And I'm not talking about the educational aspect, but in order for me to be at that level, I had to apply the knowledge to a practical real world problem. So let's do that in a shortened form. What happens when Plume is listed on Coinbase in the next 24 to 48 hours? What should have already happened? And what could happen? That's the question. Let's get into it. There's going to be 3 price predictions, 3 set prices, I should best say, not a price prediction, that I'm going to talk about today. The all-time low of Plume, the median range value of Plume's token price, and the all-time high of Plume from the initiation of this project to current. And this is only good for these historical price actions of those 3 areas: the low, the middle, the high, and Plume first being launched to present day. This is my algorithm. This is my data set, and the information's out there. You can go to CoinMarketCap and download the spreadsheets like I did. You can use the figures and math, and I can then apply it to statistical and scientific studies on tier 1 exchanges listing a project like Plume and a similar market caps and what happened. So let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the all-time low of Plume. At the time in which this video is going to you, the all-time low of Plume was achieved on October 10th of 2025. Now, the Bitcoin price at that time was 113,000, and that is the overall Bitcoin price. Mid Bitcoin price was 119,000, July the 27th, 2025. The median range of Plume with all of the price actions at its all-time high, low, and average comes out to be about 11 cents. The all-time high Plume is on March the 19th of 2025, was around about 24 cents with a highest hit at its peak at 26 cents. Bitcoin price was $86,000. Now, let's bring it in to the Coinbase effect. Now, you got to keep some things in mind, folks. I just gave you the low and the Bitcoin price at that time in the market of a little under 2 cents for Plume. Plume has not currently, at the time in which you're seeing this, receded below its all-time low, which happened over 2 months ago. However, there it is right there for you. Bitcoin, 113,000. The mid-range, keep in mind, this is adding up all of the medium ranges of Plume's value. Currently, Plume is a little bit over 2 cents at the time in which you're seeing this. The medium, most reoccurring medium for Plume is 11 cents before a Coinbase listing. And again, March 19th, the furthest away, Bitcoin at the lowest point, Plume and Bitcoin dominance wasn't as high. Plume excelled to 24 cents. Now, here comes the science. So if we look at this, folks, we're looking at September the 9th of 2025. I'm going to give you an article, and then I'm going to give you a study. The Coinbase Effect and altcoin momentum, identifying high potential listings before the hype. And you know I like that, folks. Let me give you a summary of what you'll find in this article. In this article, the Coinbase Effect, what you'll find is the 2025 Coinbase Effect now prioritizes altcoin fundamentals, utility, and regulatory compliance over mere exchange listing. If you look at projects like Solana and Spectral Labs, they demonstrate this success through institutional adoption and real-world applications, not just liquidity events. Key metrics you need to know for pre-listing opportunities include market caps under 100 million, rising on-chain activity, and strong social engagement, regulatory clarity, compliance frameworks. They give an example of MiCA and the EU, and now significantly influence altcoin momentum and listing potential. Investors must combine quantitative analysis with team credibility checks and portfolio diversification to navigate maturing markets. Now, I'm going to stop right there and address that because I read it to you, but I want you to understand what that means. Take Plume and let's check off the boxes of the study. In 2025, this article discusses this study, and it talks about some key things that you need to apply to Plume to let you know whether or not its value in the market will see growth with the Coinbase listing. One, you ask yourself the question, are the fundamentals, utility, and regulatory compliance for Plume here with this project? Plume is approved by the SEC as a transfer agent. Plume is applied to be a broker in the United States. Plume has already had its connections and backings with World Liberty Finance and USD1 stablecoin and multiple other companies like Binance and, to say the least, BlackRock, Hampton Lane, Blackstone, Petco, and we could keep going on and on. Plume is already being considered for asset listing by Grayscale. Plume is already has zero knowledge technologies in its framework in order to have privacy and security to meet regulatory compliance with KYC and other security enabled features. Plume is already in a space where it is number one in RWAs in the world globally. And it did all this from the time it started 8 months ago. Plume has met all the check marks of this study. Key metrics, pre-listing opportunities. Plume is listed on multiple exchanges and tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 exchanges at the time in which this happened, before the Coinbase listing, which is also a key. And it has liquidity. It has millions of dollars in its treasury, and it has partnerships that have billions and some close to trillions of dollars, and which is in their ecosystem. So Plume, as again, check the box for what you need. Is it underneath the $100 million market cap? At the time in which you're seeing this, Plume is. So there it again. Plume is still meeting all of the specifications for a listing on Coinbase to have the Coinbase effect, and we're still going with it. Regulatory clarity. Plume has that regulatory clarity. In the United States alone, not including the EU and also Japan, they have all passed regulations regarding this particular aspect. Here in the United States, we talk about the Genius Act, and what is coming is the Clarity Act. But even if it didn't pass those, crypto has clarity already, and Plume has PSUD, which is a stablecoin, Nest, and these products are still usable in the United States. Plume is also regulated in the United States. Plume is also, the key leadership is in the United States. And despite its international foreign connections, it has bridged the gap and has that regulatory compliance already with this approval with the SEC. Investors, right there, if we stop with this article, Plume hits every single function for the Coinbase effect based off of that study and that was brought out in this article. But let's go further about this Coinbase effect. The evolution, because the Coinbase effect, just so you understand, it's not some fake thing. I'm not just saying this out of the blue. It's literally called the Coinbase effect, about what happens to small cap coins with great utility, great fundamentals that get listed on Coinbase under $100 million market cap. What is the potential to happen? This has been studied for decades. So this is not new. I'm just giving you the summarized version of it so you can compare it to make up a decision whether you feel this is a project that is going to do well over a course of time. Now, whether you're a day trader, hodler, or a crypto gambler, no one can tell you what could happen. But I'm about to tell you the likely outcomes of this, the good, the bad, and ugly. So let's talk about this. The evolution of this Coinbase effect. Historically, according to this particular article, which is quoting a survey, and not only a survey, but a study, listings on platforms like Coinbase acted as a launch pad for altcoins, with the price surging between 100% gains to 1,000% gains common in the 2021 bull run. However, this has changed. The landscape has matured. A report by Token Metrics highlights that post 2024, now we're in 2025, so post 2024, projects with strong utility and tokenomics outperform those relying solely on exchange visibility. For instance, Solana surged from $255 in Q3 of 2025, driven by institutional adoption and DeFi integration, while Ethereum regained its beta of 1 to the broader market, signaling alignment with the macro trends. So, folks, let me just stop right there. The Coinbase effect has updated. So don't allow your mind to stay about the bull run of 2021. According to researchers who studied the markets for listings and the Coinbase effect, just like some people say, hey, that was photoshopped. That's a word we use to say something was changed. Don't let anyone confuse you that the Coinbase effect is the same as the 2021 bull run. According to researchers who study this, it has now shifted. The liquidity event of a tier 1 exchange listing of Coinbase doesn't always have the same effect, but there's a potential in the bull run between 100% to 1,000% gains for tokens that meet the specifications of Plume. That is the studies. I didn't give you a price prediction. I am showing you right here. You can look it up for yourself. Now, I do want to bring this to your attention as we go through this because I got a lot of data to tell you. Let me show you one thing I did not locate, and I'll look again. In this article, it references a report by Token Metrics in 2024. I searched for about an hour. I could not locate the Token Metrics report that they're referring to. I found token metrics. I looked. So I just want to be clear that this article, although I found it to be statistically accurate in most of the information it says, when I went through this article to find this reference token metrics report, I could not find that report. I just think it's important because in a day of AI and information and misinformation, sometimes there might be things brought into an algorithm that may not be there. And people have gotten away from fundamental research. Back when I was growing up, you know, when we researched something, you couldn't just quote one source. You would have to quote several sources. I know some people got some gray in their hair and beards who remember those days. You remember the Dewey Decimal System? That's back when you had to go look at hard copies in a library and find sources. Now people go over what they feel, how they felt today, and that's great, but I don't look at feelings. I look at what I can determine based on facts. So I could not find that report, but the article in its totality seemed to be very accurate. So just want to put that out there for your awareness. Now, before I keep going, because I want to talk about the research study. Now, I did a deep dive into research from Blockchain Research Lab, a study from 8 September 2019 entitled Market Reaction to Exchange Listings of Cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm not going to let you take the time today in this moment to try to read through the 20 pages of data that I read through and all the references and appendixes that I read through in order for me to break it down to you in a live stream video about the results of this 2019 study. I'm going to summarize it into 7 points for you, but I want you to see this again before I do that. If you want to find this article yourself, look up Blockchain Research Lab. It's the name of the people who did the study. Working paper series number 3. The date of it is 8 September 2019. And it's titled Market Reaction to Exchange Listings of Cryptocurrencies. The article says that, the study shows Leonard Ante is the person who made it. Now, somebody's going to skip that and they're going to say, Underdog, you just gave me a speculation and price prediction, and I don't know what else I can do. The only thing I can do is tell you folks that this is not a price prediction. I'm going to tell you what I see likely to happen with Plume based on the researchable facts. Now, before I get into this article and break it down, let's get to the chat, see who is here, and then let's get back to the conversation. I got a lot to cover about this Coinbase effect that may happen in the next 24 to 48 hours with Plume. So let's see who's in the talk tonight. Starting at the top, thank you for being here today, folks, to enjoy this conversation. I'm happy to be here to talk to you. Let's see what we got going here. We've got one person here. Let's take this off the screen so you can see. Kenneth 98489, not listed yet, right? That's correct. At this time, there has been a roadmap announcement on December the 2nd. As of December the 8th, 6 days later, it went from an announcement to a Coinbase imminent listing supposed to have happened on the 8th. But then there was an update as of the 9th stating that due to issues that's happening with Coinbase itself, that it would be listed in probably 24 hours on December 10th. Not probably, from what it said, December 10th. So currently, Plume is not listed on Coinbase, but currently it went from announced in December 2nd and in 6 days to a imminent listing on Coinbase based on Coinbase and multiple other sources. So there's to answer your question there. Underdog Research, and that's me. I just told you I started Kinch. It was due today to be listed at Coinbase at 9 a.m. Got you. Tips. Let's see. Tips. I'm bad at a game. Good to see you again. Excited to hear more about Plume. Saw they got commercial license. Oh, that's great. See, we'll be talking about that too. That's the thing about Plume. There's so much happening. I know people can't keep up with it. So my purpose as I do these videos, both my private site and also the videos that I do here live for you, I want to make sure that I provide as much information as possible in bits and pieces so that you can follow along, because it's a lot. It's information overload. Again, if you want to be a member, scan that QR code. You're going to see updates on Plume. I have a series I'm about to do on Plume and go deeper than anyone else goes before. So make sure you do that. So thank you for being here today. Let me go to the next person. Good for you to be here today. Tips. I told you I'm starting now. This was before Money Badger 1561. What's up, my brother? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here with us today, and I hope that you're enjoying the conversation. We're about to get right back into it, but I want to greet you because if you took the time out of your day to see this research, like I took the time out of my day to make it, then I want to respect everybody here. So I appreciate you. Jack Thompson, hey, great to see you, brother. Underdog Shalom, good to see you. Jack, is always great to see you. You've been following the channel, a member here. Good to see you, folks. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see, we got Square, New Jersey in the house. New Jersey's here. Thank you for being here. Jay Shear, thanks again for your time, brother. Jay Shear, I appreciate it. You know, I get off a long day of doing what I had to do with my work day, but when I see these things, I want to put you in a position to win, folks. Listen, you need to stay tuned. I'm just greeting everyone. When I finish greeting everyone, I'm going to get back to it. You're going to be surprised at what likely could happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. You know it's about to be listed. All I can do is tell you, you got to take action or not take action. That's up to you, but wait till you hear what I have to tell you today. Thank you for being here, Jay Shear. Oh, we got Jack Thompson, been stacking that plume. Let's go. Money Badger, I got 1.5 million plume. Woo! Pump my bags. Folks, at the time in which this video is being done, I don't know what his entry is, but 1 million plume at the current price is about 22,000. He got 1.5, so half of 22. He's talking about 11. So this man done put about 31,000 or more. If he got it all at 2.2 cents into plume, that's a lot of plume, folks. So let's just put the math out there, folks. Something like that, someone with 1 million plume, if that was to go back up to its all-time high, oh my goodness. Forget about all-time high. If what you got there, 1.5 million goes back at 2 cents to its back to the medium price of 13 cents. So we're talking about a profit right there of well over, we're talking about well over 10x right there for the person. Wow. So congratulations. I hope that in the next year or 2 years, it goes right back to what it has been already doing before Coinbase. So we'll talk about that in a second, but congratulations on that bag. I wish you well with it. All right. Swift Coin Harder sent my plume to Coinbase, but never saw. Whoa. Wait a minute. Don't send your plume to Coinbase. No. You can't. You'll lose your money. It says it's not to be sent there before the listing. So I'm hoping that you sent it to Plume to the Coinbase wallet. Let me read that again, because you say Coinbase. That's making me nervous because you send it before, and Coinbase tells you send it before it goes live, you'll lose all your tokens unless you send it to the Coinbase wallet. Remember, there's the decentralized wallet and there's the Coinbase official. Plume is on the Coinbase wallet right now, but do not send your plume to Coinbase, the centralized exchange, before they go live, because you will lose your tokens. So I'm hoping that's not what you did. You got me nervous there, Swift Coin Holder. Please don't do that. Make sure you're paying attention to when that announces. Deposits of plume on Coinbase are available. I can't verify that from what I saw, unless that was updated. It's not available yet because they gave a halt to it being available until 10th of December of 2025. So again, if it is available, I'm happy. I'm happy for you, but you got me nervous a little bit, Swift Coin Holder. All right, let's keep going. We got Just Aped into Plume, Marcus Garvey. All right, well, let's see what happens. Now, make sure this is not a price prediction. This is not speculative. I'm just going to give you the facts and applying the studies to Plume. So please wait to the end of this video. I'm almost done with the greeting everyone, and we'll get right back to it. I just want to make sure that I'm greeting everyone who took the time. Heck yeah, tips. I see. I prefer information like you do. Not a fan of price predictions. Me either. I don't do price predictions. So I get a lot of comments where people ask me to do so, and I don't do it. I think they're all fake. We got Marcus Garvey. Can we stake Plume from the USA? Currently, right now, as far as I know, there are ways to do it, but I haven't seen an official way to do it without you doing extra stuff. So just wait. Hold on to token. Now you can go to plumes.org and there's different ways you can apply it. And there's some nest, and I'll go into that again, what you can do. But for today, I don't believe you can. We got Detroit XRP. Salutations, brothers. Good for you to be here. Thank you again. You came to the last video, and I remember you as well. So thank you for being here. William 1BH, even underdog. Thanks for the update. You're welcome. And I haven't gave y'all updates yet, folks. Please, I know this is going longer than you probably expected, but it's going to be there. But if you can't stay for the live, come afterwards, and in 24 hours, it'll update to my YouTube page and my private site, and then you can see it and you can catch up. But hopefully, you can stay to the end. I'm glad I bought some Plume the other day. Absolutely. Tevin King, 8931. I really think, you're going to like what you're about to find out. I'm almost to the bottom of the greetings, and we're about to get right back into it, folks. Randy Espirito, good job, underdog, and thank you for the hard work for us. Hey, you're a priester. I appreciate it. Look, I want people to win. I don't get paid for none of this. I mean, maybe YouTube supposed to pay me, but I believe it's like 1 cent or 2 cents or maybe $1 for every 1,000 views. And people not even, watching it long enough for that to happen. So trust me, I lose money by just doing this these videos because money and time are the same for me. However, if I can help someone win, then that means a lot to me. But if you do want to get this information quicker, folks, my memberships are 66 cents for every day, which is about $19.99 a month. And I have a private site, and I waive your fees completely if you go into private site. So look, all I can tell you is if you got more than $20 worth of Plume or any other cryptocurrency that I'm discussing, and you're not a member, I don't understand why. If you're not willing to spend $20 on research, but you're willing to pay Coinbase more than $20 when you make a trade, it doesn't make financial sense to me. So stay ahead of the game. Invest in yourself, because at the end of the day, it's your investment. So consider that. All right, so let's keep going. We got good evening, D Carey 4127. Good evening to you too. Thank you for joining me today. D Carey, good people. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I love what I do. I'm happy to be here. As always, thank you for information video. You're welcome. We got Swift Porter. Don't lose since they didn't go live. I sent back to my wallet. Oh, perfect. You got me scared. I'm glad you told me that. William, looking forward for the upcoming Plume series. Yes, I'll be doing an upcoming series, folks. It'll be for my members at the analyst level. Again, it's 66 cents. I think it's worth $20 a month. So consider that. Longer video just means more info. So that we find me. Thank you very much. I'm glad you had the patience to be here. Hero Tamani, good to see you. One of the members, he's a member of the Underdog Research Channel. So one of the membership have been worth it tenfold. Thank you for your expertise and research. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'll be doing some special videos that for my members here for Plume. And last one before we get back started, William 1BH right here. Thank you, brother. All right, so let's get right back into it. I appreciate y'all patience. Thank you for being here. Let's jump right into this conversation. So what does this mean? The Blockchain Research Lab in 2019 did a study of major exchanges, including Coinbase, major exchanges, and they gave those aspects of it based on market fluctuation, foundation, all that to determine what typically happens. So let's talk about it. I broke it down in 7 summaries, but let me first give you a definition that you're going to need to know. So I'm going to refer to something during the course of my breakdown of this article. And this article is actually a research study that I'm breaking down. It's over 20 pages. Cumulative Average Abnormal Return, CAR. Now, you just need to know that because this is what that means if you never heard this before. CAR represents cumulative. Returns are added up over a multi-day event window. Averaged across all events, all listing cases in the study. Abnormal, return above or below what would normally be expected in the market. And return, the price change over time. So CAR equals the total amount of a coin's price moves beyond the expected market behavior averaged across multiple listings over a set time. Now, I know that sounds a lot, but it's important. Let me break it down and make it easy the underdog way. 'Cause I'm a country boy and who likes technology. So let me break it down the easy way. If you're looking at a hedge fund manager, a big company like BlackRock, institutional investors like Walmart, like JP Morgan Bank, when they go to a hedge fund, the hedge fund's manager tries to sell them products, and these products give their customers some type of yield or return. Now, in that world, it's called alpha. So you hear people saying it all the time. Hey, this person just gave me some alpha. The literal definition of alpha is giving a company a return above the expected value of a return in the market. So you can expect that your house goes up in value, let's say in a market like Houston, Texas, for example, 2% in a year. You go to someone and you say, listen, I'm a hedge fund. We buy houses. If you buy the houses that we get, we're going to get them and we're going to sell houses from this place and this place in Houston. The value will go up 10% in a year. That would be alpha. 8% alpha. Anything above the expected market value is called alpha. In this study of a cryptocurrency coin, there's expectations for what you should expect based on studies of thousands of cryptocurrencies and major exchanges. And so CAR is the cumulative average of abnormal return. Abnormal means above or below what would normally be expected. Is that clear as mud? So just remember, above or below what you expect to get is CAR. Now, let's break down this summary and get to it, and I'm going to apply it to Plume throughout. So according to this, the first of the 7 things I want you to know, the study showed that in the Coinbase effect, listings produce a strong positive returns, but only up to the listing day. According to this paper, the average cumulative abnormal return, CAR, across exchanges plus 9.2% across the total event window, measured conservatively, plus 5.7% specifically on the day of the listing. And this effect is highly significant. These numbers confirm that new listings create a positive price surprise driven by increased visibility, access for new investors. So let's break down this and apply it to Plume. Plume can expect 9.2% on average across this time frame of an increase. And on the day of the listing on December the 10th of 2025, if it lists, the lowest aspect is 5.7. So you should expect minimum 5.7% increase in Plume's price. And you can expect a minimum, the average, the norm, what should be expected is a 9.2% across the total window of time from the time of December the 9th when they announced it, Coinbase, to the day of listing. So in the next 24 hours, if it goes up within that window, that is the expected norm for anybody. So if you're a crypto trader and you're like, Joan, I want to find out right now, what is the price prediction? 10%, a little under 10%, between 5.7 and 10%. So if you got $1 for every dollar that you spend, if you do it right and time it right, it's potentially possible that you can make $1.10. Now, if you so choose that you want to get more out of it and you want to risk it, then that's on you. But I think you probably want to pay attention to the rest of the study so you can see what it is. So now we have a medium. Folks, you should see an increase between 5.7 and 9.2% on average based on the study with Plume. Now let's go to the next part of the 7 things. After the listing, the day of returns negative, typical post-listing drift. The study found that negative 1.5% average return during the 3 days after the listing. Traders often use the increased liquidity to sell rather than new buyers entering. This mirrors the same phenomenon seen in the stock markets. The hype lifts the price into the listing, but post-listing drift is typically negative. So what does that mean? After Plume lists in the next 3 days, if it starts to drop, on average, most tokens, based on this study, drop at least 1.5%. But it tells you why. Isn't this better than someone telling you, oh, they're dumping on you, scheme? People just say whatever they feel and they don't give you any researchable information. Why does it go down? Because everyone knows that the Coinbase listing will increase liquidity because Coinbase is a liquidity provider there. And so people anticipate that just like you do. And everybody globally who can access Coinbase and other markets say, wait a minute, I'm going to use this time to sell my bag because I anticipate, because of the hype beforehand, that Plume will go up in value, and they start to sell more than they are buying, which is the basics of market, buyers and sellers. So it's not a scheme or scam if you start seeing the price go down. It's literally how markets work. If more sellers are selling because they're trying to make money and profit than people are buying, then what happens? The demand goes down and prices drop. As more people start buying based on hype, liquidity, and fundamental understanding of the project, then the price goes up. So this is going to be expected. Expect within the next 3 days after Plume's listing, there will be a spike up to 10% on average, and it will start going down. And this is called something particularly that's called post-listing drift. So that's so you can know. So now we got that, folks. If it goes down in price, that should be expected. Let's keep going. Number 3, this announcement effects are weak, but pre-announcement leaks are strong. So for exchanges that announce listings the day before, the study found that no strong announcement effect happens, but there are significant plus 6% abnormal returns the day before announcements, indicating information leaks or informed trading. This is extremely relevant to this Coinbase listing of Plume because any roadmap announcement can trigger run-ups if people anticipate early listing. So what is this saying, folks? Plume announced December the 2nd that they potentially will be listing Plume as I was. Coinbase announced December 2nd, and Plume did too, that they'll have a potential listing in the roadmap. 6 days later, on December 8th, this was updated, in which they stated that it will be listed on the 9th. Let's see how that affects it. When an exchange does this, the study found that there will not be a strong announcement effect, but there will be a 6% increase if the day before the announcement, the information is leaked. You see, what happens is when people believe they're getting something that they're not supposed to get, if it's leaked information, it's not on the official Coinbase site, people get hyped up and they start putting themselves in a position to go out there and grab the tokens. So since Coinbase announced it on the 9th, as I was on the 8th of December, which is one day before they're supposed to announce it, we shouldn't see a big effect from the price standpoint based on that announcement. However, if there was leaks that had occurred, we would have seen a bigger announcement. So far, this shows that we shouldn't expect anything too high because there wasn't too many leaks before the listing. If we hadn't seen a leak, we could have expected a 6% bump. but we didn't. And let me tell you why they don't do it. According to Coinbase regulations and policies, if a project that has been deemed to be on the roadmap leaks the information that they're going to be listed on Coinbase, it increases the likelihood of scams, and Coinbase will delist them just because they violated their agreement. So Plume wouldn't have wanted to leak it. They could say coming soon, but they didn't say when, because if they stated exactly when it will be listed before, that violates the agreement between Coinbase and the company. So that's where it didn't happen. So on the third thing, I believe that this shows us that the announcement isn't doing much. And I look at the price of Plume, I've seen it go up a little bit. It's still consistent with this. So number 3 is accurate. Plume will not see a big rise the day before, which is the day before, due to the fact it came out on official channels and it wasn't leaked. Number 4, U.S. exchanges produce stronger positive effects. The study found that the U.S.-based exchanges yield significantly stronger positive returns around listing events. This matters for our Plume because if you look at a Plume analysis, Coinbase is the largest U.S. exchange with the strict compliance, amplifying legitimacy and demand. So let's talk about that. Coinbase is the biggest and the baddest, folks. So if we're looking at Plume right now and we're looking at this U.S. exchange, this study shows that Plume being listed on Coinbase had the strictest compliance, which means that there's more potential for Plume to blow up your bank account because of the fact that it's listed on Coinbase than it to be listed anywhere else. It can be listed on Binance and do well in Binance. It can be listed on Bitmart and be doing on Bitmart. It could be on crypto.com like it was. But this Coinbase listing is a catalyst in its own sphere. Plume may have a very significant, strong upward push due to the fact it's getting listed on Coinbase. Now, you probably already knew that, but now we got facts that support that are not biased, that are researchable. So that's what we see with Plume. Number 5, trading volume surges dramatically around listings. So according to the study, heavy increases in volume occur even before the listing. Another indicator of informed trading. Volume and market cap characteristics influence how big the price effect will be. More liquid, well-known assets have smaller pumps, while newer or lower volume assets like Plume tend to experience a strong positive effect. Folks, this is huge. This is now starting to build up our foundation about what we expect to happen. What we can expect to happen is a project like Plume that has low volume, high volume, which it does. Last time we checked on December 2nd or December the 5th, the last time I looked at it, it was $24 million worth of volume. That's a lot of volume and a small market cap. It is like a time bomb about to blow up. And according to the studies that was in 2019, and according to the updated research in 2025, projects like Plume that get listed on a strict exchange like Coinbase with these exact fundamentals have a significantly higher pump, right? Even before the listing. So now we are building that foundation of what you can potentially expect with this Plume listing. We're almost through it. Number 6, exchange specific effects. Not all exchanges are equal. Only a handful of exchanges consistently produce double-digit positive CARs, including Binance, Bittrex, BitThumb, OKX, Bitforex. What this shows us is bigger, higher trust exchanges generate bigger effects, and Coinbase is one of the biggest, most trusted listing events in the industry. Don't let them get it twisted. I've been talking about this for months before I ever got here. You're going to see people talk about when is Binance, when is Coinbase. and they put it with their project. They hope to get to the point where it lists on Coinbase. They wish they could get their project listed on Coinbase. Here, you know your project is getting listed on Coinbase. Here, it meets all the fundamentals: small market cap, high volume, fundamental institutional grade projects. It also has all the regulatory compliance. It has the privacy security, and it's listed on the #1 U.S. exchange, period. Folks, the backers behind this are a whole nother story. You can expect that according to the study, that a project like Plume will explode based on its listing on the major exchange like Coinbase. Now, don't let the people fool you. If it's on that exchange, it's accessible. As time goes on, people will see it and it'll be easy to buy. So don't let them get you out of your bags by you not understanding what you got in your pocket if you have Plume, or you saying, oh, look at the price going down. Now you better understand it. So we're here. We're moving to our final aspect of that study. And this is number 7. This is what it says. The positive effects are concentrated in the days before and at the listing, not after. The pattern of the study identified: 1, the run-up period is -3 to -1, and I'll explain that to you in just a second. Positive abnormal returns, the listing day, strong positive effects, and the post-listing, after listing, +1 to +3, negative drift as early investors sell. Coinbase listing do not guarantee a long-term price appreciation. The strongest effects historically occur before and during the listing event. Afterwards, coins tend to retrace. Now, folks, I'm going to address this with you right now. Now, I went through that study line by line because I want you to go back and you'll review this, not just for Plume, but this applies to other projects. You now have the foundation. But let me tell you what this means. Let me break that down for you so you don't miss it, so you can hear it. So let's go to the first thing of these 3 aspects, the patterns you need to know that's applied. Number 1, what does that mean? The run-up period, -3 to -1 days. The positive abnormal returns. This means 3 days before the listing, 2 days before, 1 day before, the coin price tends to rise more than normal market movement. Why? Because traders anticipate the listing. Hype builds, liquidity increases. Sometimes information leaks early, and buyers enter the position themselves ahead of the listing. What is the results of this -3 to -1 days? 3 days before, all the way to 1 day before. Coins typically show statistically significant positive returns in the pre-listing window. Think of it as the pump starts before the listing happens. Folks, I need you to see this part. I'm not going to move past this. I need you to get what I'm trying to tell you here. Hear me. I need you to focus. December the 2nd, it was announced on a roadmap. It's almost unheard of that it was going to be listed in less than a week. The average is 1 to 6 weeks. It was announced on the 8th, 6 days later, to have a listing on the 9th, which is exactly a week. No leaks occurred before that because it was on official channels. So there was no 3 days before, 2 days before, or 1 day before. We're sitting here 1 day before its potential listing on Coinbase, based on Coinbase, with no leaks. So if we use this math based on the study, we didn't get any of the 3 day before pre-listing things. So what should happen is on the day of the listing, you may anticipate a lot of money going into it and the price surging. But it is potentially possible, since we didn't get the 3 day lead, it was just 7 days. I mean, we're talking about 6 days with no leaks. It's potentially possible that 3 days start post listing. It could literally have this 3-day run up. Wouldn't that be amazing for 3 full days that Plume kept going up and up and up to catch up because people are just finding out about it? Now, if we go by the study, then only on the day of listing around the 10th will we see a spike, and immediately following those 3 days, we'll see a downward drift and shift. But that is what we see there. Let's talk about number 2. And this is going back to this portion here, exchange specifics about that. And we're talking about the positive effects of the run-up. So now let's go to number 2 of that positive effects of a run-up. Listing day 0. So strong positive effects. On day 0, the day of the listing, the exact day that Plume goes, it becomes available for trading. This is what research shows. The largest upside day will be on the 10th of December. That should be the largest upside. Price may jump sharply. Volume may surge extremely. And new investors who couldn't access it before this date buy the coin, and then the coin gets credibility boost. Exchange stamps it of approval. Coinbase says this is a good one. This is the classic Coinbase effect. The results, a big spike in both price and volume. That is what we should see here. Now, I can't tell you what's going to happen. All I can tell you is what the data shows could happen. If I was a betting man and I happen to have $1 of Plume, and Plume is 2 cents, so I can get 50 Plume, right? And I say to myself, this is the way I'm thinking. This is just so for disclaimer purposes. This is underdog researcher speculation and frame of mind, my personal thinking. Okay. And I put my hard-earned money into Plume. I buy $1 worth of Plume. If it goes up from $1, from 2 cents to 13 cents, I'll make it even easier. Let's make it 10 cents. 2 cents go into 10 cents 5 times. So I have taken my $1, and for every $1 I invested, how much am I getting back? For me personally, I'm going to take the opportunity to at least put in my brain that is a possibility that if I have a 2 cents and it goes up to 10 cents, that even if I sold it at 4 cents, that I've just doubled my investment. Now, that's how I think. I can't tell you to do that because, of course, people who are early investors, according to the study, they were early investors. They got into Plume and they see it go up. They're going to sell. The study shows they will sell. Tomorrow we'll have both more sellers than we have buyers. And in the next 3 days, it could likely go down or it could likely spike up. But my point is still the same. Other projects that I'm in, I look at the coin market cap each day, and I don't know if it's going to be listed on Coinbase. I don't know whether or not it's going to shoot up. Maybe it does when I go to sleep overnight, but all I do know is that this one is going to be listed. And what I do know is, based on studies since 2019, that the more likelihood is my token price will surge from 2 cents to even 3 cents. And if it does, I win. That's just me. So let's get to the final portion of this. Let's go to this part. Final portion. After the listing, this is important, so pay attention. After the listing of Plume, 1 day to 3 days after listing, an effect called the negative drift effect comes in place for early investors sell. This means the day after listing, 2 days after listing, 3 days after listing, the price will go down, likely. Why do prices decline though? Because early investors take profits. Traders bought the rumor and they sell the news. Hype fades. market returns to equilibrium. This is called post-listing drift, and the studies show statistically negative. The coin often retraces a portion of the listing day spike. So I need to make this point because you're going to go online when you finish watching this underdog research video. You're going to go to CoinMarketCap. You're going to see comments here. You're going to go to X, and you're going to go to YouTube. You're going to use all the resources. You'll get everybody's opinion, and no one's doing the research. No one is looking at what happens. They're going to tell you it's a scam because price action goes down. No matter how many times Bitcoin goes down and back up, how many times have you heard over the last 10 years, Bitcoin's a scam? How many times have people gotten you out of your bag because of the fact that you didn't have no fundamentals other than people's thoughts and opinions? And although I respect people's opinion, I am a person of science and research. I respect what people have done to get a statistical, fundamental measuring tool for me to use to evaluate what I have in my pocket. So when you get off of this and someone says, institutional are dumping on retail, oh my God, just keep in mind to yourself that that person has likely no understanding of the fundamentals of trading, and they're crypto gamblers, and they're just saying whatever they feel, and that could hurt you, because if you do happen to be in a position and it does go up in value and you sold because you had it at 13 cents and it receded down to 2 cents, as statistically these coins do when Bitcoin drops, I don't know, about $40,000 and it's underneath 85,000, people probably should put a little bit more thought into it. That's just me. So the coin could start retracing in Plume as early investors who got in before you did sell to make a profit, which is totally normal. So now we're going to put it all together, and then I'm going to stop, break, talk to you, and then I'll finish up with an overview of Plume. Now stick with me because I got some more stuff. I'm just going through the scientific evaluation. I got more about Plume, but I want to talk to you first, folks. So let's put it all together, folks. This Coinbase effect. If I looked at this study, what did you learn? Crypto listings follow a predictable pattern. 3 days before the listing, price begins to rise for Plume. That's the run-up period. But we did not have a run-up period because we had no leaks. It came out through official channels. So you got to put that and evaluate it and apply it. On the listing day of itself, that should be December the 10th. If it gets listed on December 10th, as Coinbase has stated, you will get the strongest price impact because of the coin becomes accessible to millions of new buyers. And then after that, you should expect that after the coin listing, within 1 to 3 days, the drift starts. The coin starts to drift downward as early buyers take profits. This is the same pattern we see in stock and the rumor, the buy to sell rumor, sell the news. This is normal. Now, why this matters for Plume, folks? If Plume receives a Coinbase listing on December the 10th of 2025, expect the run-up to may begin days before, but that didn't happen here because it was not leaked. The announcement happened on the 2nd of the roadmap, and then it was on the 8th. There was no time in between for a leak. So we're not seeing the 3 day before run-up. The largest pump tends to occur on the listing day. So on December 10th, I'm looking and expecting for a significant turn up of this project. The retracement should happen within 1 to 3 days afterwards. So by the 11th, 13th, 11th, 12th, and 13th of December, I'm looking for the price to start to recede, and long-term movement depends on fundamentals, not listing alone. So now we're about to go to the next part, but I'm going to pause in between. Folks, I just gave you no price prediction. I just gave you the most in-depth conversation. Who else is giving you scientific studies and articles specifically on coins that matched Plume's Plume? And well, who does that? Nobody but Underdog Research Channel. I just gave you the expectations. I told you about CAR. I told you about what to expect. Now you see where Plume falls. We didn't have any leaks. We got official listings. Tomorrow, we will find out if Plume falls within the standard. However, you need to understand that Plume did not have any leaks. So it is possible that that delayed 1 to 3 day pre-listing effect happens from day 10, December 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's up in the air. Either Plume will start to recede, and that's normal, or Plume will go up because now people are starting to hear about it. That is what you need to understand. But in my opinion, it may be better to have Plume before this happens than to wait and buy green candles. If you want to buy green candles, that's your, hey, listen, I can't tell you what to do. If you want to buy green candles, buy all the green candles you want to, but I buy red candles for future green days. So that's what you need to know about Plume. Now, next thing we'll be talking about a quick analysis about Plume itself. But before I do that, let me see who's still here with me rocking. We're way over our time. This is important though, so I want to make sure I'm with you. Let's see who's checked in with us. We got Q-Rail. I can't say these names. Q-Rail, Raleigh, Q-Rail. I can't say that right. I'm from the country. I'm gonna call you Q because you done messed me up with that Y behind the Q. Yo, Plumerians, good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. We got tips. Which one of you is buying right now? I'm watching that order book. I don't blame you. I'll be watching that order book too. I'm on here with you guys, so I can't see the order book right now. But trust me, when this thing ends, I'm already in a position that I want to be in, but I might try to squeeze a few extra out there. We got the Crypto Crossroads Show. Plume reminds me of Kita. Coinbase announced it on its roadmap on October 21st, 2025, and proceeded to list KTA the next day, October 22nd, 2025. That is amazing. And folks, let me give you a quick announcement while here. Crypto Crossroads Show is a content creator that I watch myself. If you want good quality research, him and another one that I like to use is Black Rue Investing. He has great content, but he follows a project called Mocha. He was the first one. I brought that project out after he talked to me about it. He's in the communities that I'm in as well. He brought that out in 2024 before it was listed. Now, the reason that's important because I want to give you a connection. I wish I had known he'll be here today because I would show you this. But I talk about zero knowledge technologies, which is very important. So look at my connected series, become a member, look at that. I'll show you these connections, but this is important. Plume has a zero knowledge technology. Now, the important part of that is you have to have this privacy and security so you can meet regulatory compliance globally. What I want you to know is Mocha Coin, which was brought to us by the Crypto Crossroads Show, who is here right now, a content creator on YouTube, has a underlying company called ZK Me. ZK Me is the company that provides zero knowledge technologies for Plume and the company that provides zero knowledge technologies for Mocha. And Mocha Coin and Plume are partners. And Mocha has something that I'm going to be talking about in 2026. I started talking about it in 2025. It's part of the 3 main areas that I will discuss on my platform. Has digital identity, and that is the aspect, decentralized digital identity verification. Imagine KYC decentralized. Imagine not having data breaches. Now, why does that matter with Plume? There is a synergy and connection between this company that I don't have its picture up right now, Mocha Coin with Animoca brand, the Web3 leader, a $6 billion company, and Plume. That is a part of my connected series that I have provided you. It's important that you understand the true partners behind the scenes. We're talking about multi-billionaires. We're talking about global adoption. We're talking about the fact that they shared a similar underlying technology from the same company. It's important. So if you're looking at this right now, go to Crypto Crossroads Show on YouTube. Find them, And I would add him and I would watch his series because I'll be talking about it. But since he brought that up, he brings it up the most. It's important you watch him. So thank you for being here, Crypto Crossroads Show. It's a pleasure to have you here. We got Hiro Tanami. Go to how to 100K, just purchase 10K after this narrative. Oh, thank you. Oh, whoa. Oh, you're going in hard, folks. I love it. I love it. So we'll see what happens. William, with about 60% of the coins not circulating yet, do you think they might use the increased liquidity to dump, resulting in the downward price pressure? So I want to answer your question, and this is a good answer, but this is what I want you to do. And this is for everybody, because I get this question a lot. We got to get away from something, William. And I'm not picking on you, William. I promise I'm not picking on you. What I want you to do is really hear what I'm trying to show you with this scientific study. The word dump, the word FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the word scam and scheme. And I know you didn't say that, but I think they're sometimes grouped. Our words are misused and commonly said, and they don't apply. According to this study that I showed you, when you say the word dump, it says in the study in 2019 and 2025 that early investors will sell for profit. So who are those early investors? Since the token release haven't happened yet, the early investors are going to be people who have big holdings, and people who have medium-sized holdings and small-size holdings. So, yes, if your definition of dump is that the people who bought it at 6 cents will sell it when it goes more liquidity and it goes above 6 cents, then yes, we should expect that there will be a price decline. That's what the study says. However, if a person buys it at 6 cents, or if they bought it at the 26 cents and they are the early investors, they're currently down because their entry is below what the current value is at 2 cents. I shouldn't expect an investor who bought in at 26 cents, who was an early investor, or an investor who bought pre-token listing, who may have gotten it at 2 cents, because the all-time low is a little bit under 2 cents, to sell as soon as it gets listed on Coinbase because there's not enough skin in the game. So that's why I think that we got to be careful about saying the words like dump, because dump doesn't respect the knowledge of the markets, and dump doesn't really respect how this thing works. I want you to think about this, and I'm going to move on because I think it's a great question that you asked. Why do we think that institutional investors and retail investors will act dramatically different than how we would act? We're sitting here and we have the tokens ourselves, and even we would take profit. We spend our money on something, it has increased in value, we would sell it if we want to make a profit. Some will sell it when it goes up higher and take a risk. Some will sell it when it gets above what they had and they didn't want to put a lot of skin in the game. We can't be afraid, based on this article and based on this study, of people selling, because that's a natural side effect of being in the market. And according to the article, William, it also says that not only does liquidity not dictate the value, but does the project itself have fundamentals of regulatory compliance, utility, and partnerships? PLUME does. So I think that based on the question you asked, that is very possible that PLUME will definitely have some selling. Now, it looks like my camera has frozen, so let me see if I can refresh this camera and see what's going on here. So apologize for that. I don't know why it did that, but let's see if we can fix it right now. If not, then we'll just have to, I don't know what we do. We have to pivot. That's technology for you. So if you still hear me, I think you can still hear me. I am trying to refresh the camera and then I'll continue with the conversation because that's what happens when you go live. And we'll find out here in a second whether or not it was able to fix it. But I appreciate you doing that. Let's keep going. And I'm going to see if I can come back in here with my camera refreshed. So little technical difficulty to make this live and make this big. It may not bring my camera back. So let me continue with this and then we'll continue with this conversation. So tips, my bad. Tips. Let me just check one more thing. I want to make sure that this is, see if it's working. Nope. So my camera, it looks like it's going to be off for the rest of this. So we're going to keep going though. So tips, my bad. The ones who say scam are gamblers who FOMO most of their portfolio with the highest leverage available. I agree. I see that too. William, the Crypto Crossroads show, do you know what the circulating supply KETA was at that time? Didn't KETA pump like crazy then? We got tips. Tomorrow is also interest rate cut decision. I was going to talk about that. So that is so true. So tomorrow is interest rate going to be a change. It should be a cut. So that could make a dramatic effect. All right. And let's see what else we got. We have Randy Espiritu still here rocking till the end. Thank you very much. Having a little technical difficulties checking to see if my camera's back. Camera hasn't came back. So it looks like I'm gonna have to finish this with no camera, but that's okay. If you can hear me, just let me know and we'll keep this rocking. We got Crypto Crossroads show. William, KETA's circulating supply was about 45%. I believe it pumped from around the low of 20 cents and hit 50 cents, I believe. And then it says Crypto Crossroads show got it. We got Detroit Crossroads talking back and forth. Detroit, they're talking back and forth. And William, right, thanks for explaining that so clearly. The price is way down from where most got in, and surely the big whales want a much higher price than what it is now. And then it showed William, basically anything under the average price you showed is cheap. I agree. And finally, we hear you still. Perfect. Thank you very much. So, folks, I apologize. I'm going to have to finish it, the rest of this video with a faceless conversation, but that's okay. I want you to look at the visuals anyway. So let's keep going. So, folks, now that we're here, let's talk about this. I'm going to give you a quick analysis of Plume. You've already went through the price expectations, not a price prediction about what you believe, but I want to remind you of the fundamentals, which the survey talked about that I've talked about before. Going in here, let's talk about it. This was announced on social media, and also I looked and researched. Breaking, Plume is bringing a real-world yield to Solana. 5 institutional grade Nest credit vaults are going live, powered by assets from giants like Wisdom Tree Funds, Hamilton Lane, Black Opal, Securitize, and Superstate. Deposit stables get liquid yield bearing tokens. Use them across Solana DeFi, instant redeem anytime. Leverage RWA looping for boosted returns. Plume is bringing stable, transparent, real world yield to 20 million users. So here's the thing, folks. This is something that I think is powerful. I'm only going to talk about the projects, the things I've talked about before. So I'll pick 2 from there. So institutional grade Nest credit. So I previously talked about Hamilton Lane, and their managing partners are Juan Delgado Maria and Eric Hirsch, and Domingo CEO, Carlos Domingo. Now, you have to understand with Plume, the partners that it's already in. Hamilton Lane is a big player that most people don't think about, and they have billions of dollars, which connects to Plume through their product called Nest. Now, Nest gives retail investors the ability to get institutional grade products, and they can get yield. Now, that is huge, but most people discount that. Securitize has partnerships with BlackRock and major institutional investors. And now Nest can connect to Securitize. You got the biggest players in the institutional rails, and Plume is giving retail investors products they couldn't get before. Plume was made for really institutional use But retail investors have a great opportunity here as well. So when you're seeing Plume listed, remember, Plume token is the utility token. So these both institutional rails and retail rails will use the Plume utility token. So you got to account for that in that listing to consider that. I also announced this in my Connected series. January 29, 2025, Plume Network integrates with RWA.XYZ to enable live real-world asset transparency. Here you see that Nest enables users to earn institutional-grade yields, and BlackRock, Blackstone, Credbull, PIMCO, and Hamilton Lane all have a connection through Nest with Plume. So we see in this article that you can go to RWA.XYZ. I encourage you to go out there and look. You can see these real world assets. Plume is number one. But not only that, they're in the biggest and the baddest. They have the audits through Slow Mist, risk assessments through them as well. And Nest is a strong product. So that is part of the algorithm that you should consider. We also need to talk about Solana and Plume. Now, again, I told you this before. I gave a video that you can go on my platform right now, and it's called Plume Acquires Dinero. Now, why is that important? Accelerating institutional ETH, SOL, and Bitcoin expansion. So if you understand that Plume has a special relationship with Solana, and you're expecting Solana to do big things, and Plume has acquired a company that allows the acceleration to institutional investors in ETH, Solana, and Bitcoin. The question is, do you believe that if an ETF happens with Solana and the other ones, Bitcoin and ETH, and Plume is a transfer agent, that people will use the product and that will increase the value of Plume? If you believe that Plume acquired Dinero and has these big token connections with ETH, SOL, and Bitcoin, if you believe in those three, you might want to consider that as a part of your thought process when you're looking at Plume. I also created this map for you. I want you to really see what this means. When you're looking at Plume, I need you to see the connections. Here I want to show you one connection. BlackRock Build has 7 cryptocurrencies that are part of the Build product. What does this mean for you? Securitize is authorized to take products from BlackRock Build. Scope is a part of this that also connected to Securitize. Plume has a relationship with a company called Elixir. This is what partnership created to create their product called Nest. Through Nest, you can get Securitize tokens and BlackRock Build tokens and Hamilton Lane products, and you can go into these 7 vaults, all using Plume, PUSD stablecoin, or Elixir's DUSD coin. Now, this acts as a vehicle. I want you to see the pipes I've showed you here in this picture. It moves the money from the institutional investors through this network, this ecosystem, so that it can get yield. Now, look at Elixir. It is basically the flow of this money, real world assets on chain, these products to the Nest products. And bottled there is your DUSD and staked USD. You get access through you converting your Plume tokens to either DUSD or PUSD, and to use that to get into Nest. Now, Nest isn't available to all parts of the United States, but it will be. And Nest is available in all the Nest vaults to other individuals throughout the world. So I need you to understand that the retail aspect of Plume being listed is only going to be increased with both the institutional push. This is a part I want to make sure you understand too. See, there's so much to Plume that you'll miss it. Hamilton Lane has a product called Scope. What does Scope mean? Senior Credit Opportunities Fund. Why does that matter? Plume has Hamilton Lane, a part of the nest, so you can get yield from that particular product if you get Plume. So for institutional investors and retail investors through Nest, which is a partnership with Plume and Elixir, they have unique deal flow and investments designed for a diverse investor base. The Senior Credit Opportunities Fund is designed to eliminate the challenges of traditional private market structures in investing. Now, potential for safety and yield, investing in the most senior part of the capital structure to provide stable returns and consistent income. Now, that might not mean anything to you, but what you need to understand is this scope product is the product that institutional investors make money. So Plume allowing you as a retail investor to stick your beak in it is another fundamental thing that's going to raise the price of Plumes through the utility and use. Now we move to stable coins. You know about the Genius Act, but why is that important? BlackRock Build states the following. 220 billion worth of stable coins today earn no yield, with short-term treasuries are yielding 4%. Crypto investors face various challenges when moving between traditional capital markets and crypto ecosystems. There hasn't been a short-term treasury tokenized product that provides USD yield on chain and scale, but BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund Build. Now, why does that matter? Because Plume connects to this product. So as the use case for stable coins increases in value in the global market, as BlackRock continues to provide more products to big banks like JP Morgan and big companies, this is going to be a part of the increase in the use of stablecoins, which is a very small market. Since Plume is in the position right now, this will give Plume tokens utility. Now I want to move to this part because I want people to understand this. I made this out for you so that you can see it. I'm only focused on BlackRock and Hamilton Lane, but there's so much more to it. This is what I want you to show. Look at this map that I created for you. Plume with Elixir created a product called Nest. I'm going to keep saying it. Simple money flow. This is what I want you to see. You got Chris Yin there at the top. You got the CEO of Elixir, David Forte there. Chris Yin, CEO of Plume, David Forte got together. And they said, hey, let's do something together. And they partnered and created the product Nest. Now, I want you to look to the far left, the retail path, the connection to Plume. You got USD and USDT, which is backed by PUSD is what the token is. So if you take your Plume token, then the PUSD that you can get, the stable coin for Plume, is backed by USDC and USDT. These are the most significant stable coins in the world, and Plume uses them to back it. That allows you to get yield. Or you can use DUSD. That's Elixir's token, all a part of the same ecosystem built by Plume, part of the Nest. Now, how would that work? You can get money from this into treasury, high yield, DeFi yield, and more. So as stable coins and retail vaults in the Nest are increasing in value, then more utility tokens like Plume have to be converted in order to tap into that resource. The more and the bigger total value locked that is going into these Plume tokens through PUSD and DUSD, the higher amount the use of utility tokens, the total increase in value. Now that's just in those two rails. What about institutional path? If you want to get the Nest, you can get those PUSD or Elixir. And if you're an institutional investor, you can get DUSD and you can get yield from real world assets that Plume provides. So you have to stake your Elixir DUSD and you give Plume an opportunity and institutional investors to reinvest that money and they promise you a yield based on the one that you choose in that next vault. And there's currently like 7 vaults. Finally, look to the bottom right. You see Larry Fink of BlackRock. You see Hampton Lane CEOs or managing partners. We're talking about Scope and Build products. Both of them products are accessible by the use of PUSD or Elixir's DUSD. And the yield from all of these products, the retail, the institution, the retail vaults, those 7 vaults there, the institutional RWAs, the build and scope, all flow back to participants and you participate. Now that is value. And not only that, I only talked folks about 2 of them. We haven't talked about Blackstone. We hadn't talked about Buck. These are other sources, and there's multiple. So what have we learned ultimately? Ultimately, we've learned this. We've learned that Plume has a great foundational, fundamental aspect that connects you to the likelihood that these Coinbase effects will occur. And the potential of Plume when listed at any time, if it does what the study shows in 2019 and what the study found in 2021 and 2025, it's a potential between 100 to 1,000% returns. Look at Solana. Now, when it happens, it'll happen fast. We also found that there was no leaks. It was announced December 9th, 2025 about the listing on the 10th. It was not leaked beforehand, so we saw that as well. So folks, ultimately, Plume listing, what's happening next could be big. Folks, that's all I have today. If you want to be a member, please take the time to like this, share this, become subscribed to the Underdog Research channel. Scan this QR code. I'm going to have private videos. This wasn't a price prediction, folks. This here was a historical pattern that you can follow, and we will find out what happens, folks. Be a part of this. You're going to see it happen. Now, will Plume return to its all-time high of March 19, 2025, where Bitcoin was 86,000? Will Plume return to its mid-range average that it has had consistently for the 8 months it's been out? And will Plume exceed its all-time low of October 10th, 2025? Right now is one of the lowest prices you can get into Plume, and it's still slightly above, about 19% above its all-time low. The entry here, statistically and in fact, are the lowest. So the potential upside could be huge with Plume returning to its all-time high. All right, folks, I'm going to turn to you and I'm going to head out. That has been everything. Take the time to look at this QR code, scan it, and then let me get to the final comments. And then you have the complete video for today. I appreciate you being here. Let's see what else we have in the chat before we finish for today. So what else did we talk about? What else do we have to say? We have the following things. Let me pull this up for you. And my camera went out earlier, so I apologize that you can't see my lovely beard, but we're going to make do. So we have Hero. It's talking about 100,000 that we're going to purchase, 10K purchase, huge purchase. We got William with about 60% of coins not circulating yet. We talked about that. We got me here. All right, what else we have here, folks? Looks like, have I gotten all of them? No, I haven't got all of them. Okay, here we go. I have to find the last place. All right, we got this part. We already talked about this. We basically anything under average. We talked about this from William. We still hear you. I had camera issues that came up, and the Crypto Crossroads show. We talked about that. Hero Plume becomes like share, not just a commodity on the blockchain. I like that. Hero Tanami. Thanks for the love. Plume and Mocha go hand in hand. Yatsu recently stated that nothing is keeping Mocha from Coinbase listing now, that the SEC is playing ball. Plume first, then Mocha. I absolutely agree, folks. Mocha likely will be next. Mocha Coin, make sure you go to check out Crypto Crossroads Show. Look at my platform. We're going to talk about Mocha, and it is a great opportunity, so make sure you're looking at that. Yatsu is the CEO, or actually the chairman of Mocha. Robbie Young is the CEO, and it's an interesting project, so check out Mocha. We have Tips. Thanks for your time and information. It's very much appreciated. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for checking us out. Detroit, very informative, interesting points. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm hoping that y'all like this type of research and coverage. And Russell, can you talk about Elixir? Will it survive the DUSD problem? And today, Russell, I won't be able to talk about it because we're looking at 1 hour and 40 minutes into this video, but I will discuss it more in detail in the future. So thank you for bringing it up. All right, folks, that's everything. I won't be able to show you my face before I leave, but I hope that you watch this and take a look. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all you've done, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll give more updates. Please take the time. I'm going to say it one more time. It's right there, folks, 66 cents. Become a member at the analyst level. You'll get videos that you won't see here on public forum, and also have a private site. It's worth it. Do you have more than $20 of Plume or any other project I'm discussing? If so, then I take the time. You do the same. Take care of your own investment. So I hope this helps you, and I'm here to give you any information I can. Until next time, this has been the Underdog Research Channel, and today we talked about Plume, the Coinbase Effect. Take care.
Be the plume goon since start down, need permission, I stay real with it. Lay on foundation, know it's gon' build, bro, I been biddle with it. Your homeboy check the cash out, smart contracts with a cash out. Everybody want smoke till I turn the dare, show you where the house at. Spun the block, turns out I been black rock. Protocol, treasuries, bonds on me, got them padlocked. Been the best out, they can imitate. Get the best out, then you integrate. Ask Kondo, who Rambo, drew first blood, boy, I been a great. Everybody think they star boy. I'm in orbit. Stella still, hella Stella though. I like Swift better for the corporates. I'm the enterprise, I took the knives. Hamilton on chain. Zero knowledge, always never improvise. The White House, no my name.